If you have been in my comment section recently, you already know why I made this video. The mentions of Hu Yitian would not stop. And not in a good way. So I went back, did the research, read the timeline, listened to the audio, and what I found is not the story most people are telling. Let me start with some context because you cannot understand why this scandal hit as hard as it did without understanding who Hu Yitian was at the time it happened. In 2017, Hu Yitian and Shen Yue starred together in A Love So Beautiful, a youth romance drama that became one of the most watched Chinese dramas of that year. The show was a massive success and it launched both of their careers into a completely different level of visibility. Hu Yitian specifically came out of that drama with a very carefully crafted public image. He was being called China's national first love. Clean, charming, romantic. Exactly the kind of image that makes fans deeply invested in who you are as a person, not just as an actor. That image is important, because when the scandal broke, it was not just his career that took a hit. It was the trust of every single fan who believed in that image. And that is what made the reaction so intense. In mid-2018, shortly after A Love So Beautiful had finished airing and, while both actors were at the height of their post-drama popularity, CCTV footage surfaced online allegedly showing Hu Yitian meeting a woman at a hotel in Hengdian. Hengdian, for context, is China's largest film and television production base. Actors are there constantly for filming. But the footage alone was enough to start conversations. Then came the person at the center of it all. An internet personality known as Bei Yebei came forward and publicly claimed to be the woman in that footage. She stated that she and Hu Yitian had been in contact since early 2017, around the same time A Love So Beautiful was being filmed, and that their contact continued until mid-2018 when he reportedly removed her from his contacts following the release of the footage. And then she released audio recordings. She claimed these recordings were made while she and Hu Yitian were together, and that the voice in the recordings belonged to him. Now this is the part I need you to pay very close attention to, because this is where the facts and the narrative that spread online start to separate from each other. The audio that circulated has been translated, and I want to walk you through what it actually contains, because what most people remember being said, and what was actually said in that recording are two very different things. In the audio, a man's voice is heard having a conversation. There are significant portions marked as inaudible throughout the recording. The conversation touches on several topics, including a substance discussion, frustration with fans, and a mention of a co-star. The part that people focused on most was a reference to a female co-star, widely assumed to be Shen Yue. In the recording, the person makes a comment about her appearance being average and relatable to most girls. The framing was that this relatability was actually the reason audiences connected it with Shen Yue. Here is what I need you to understand as an analytical point. The word average in that context was not presented as an insult in the way it was reported. The conversation as translated suggests the speaker was acknowledging that her relatable girl next door quality was what made her work, not attacking her for being unattractive. The portions of the audio that would have given full context to those statements are marked inaudible. This is critical. You cannot reach a definitive conclusion about intent from a recording that is partially inaudible and was released by someone with a clear motivation to damage the person being recorded. That is not me defending anyone. That is basic analytical thinking. There was also no moment in the verified translation where the phrase, "ugliest actress I ever worked with," appeared. That specific claim circulated widely online, but it does not match what the actual translated audio contains. This is exactly the kind of detail that gets added as a story spreads and people repeat what they heard rather than what was documented. Regardless of what the audio actually said, the damage to Hu Yitian's reputation was immediate and significant. His national first love image collapsed almost overnight. Fans who had invested emotionally in that persona felt deeply betrayed. The combination of the hotel footage and the audio gave the story enough fuel to spread widely across Chinese social media and entertainment forums. His career did not end, but the momentum he had built coming out of a love so beautiful was severely disrupted. And Shen Yue, who had nothing to do with any of it, suddenly found her name attached to a scandal entirely against her will. Now here is the part of this story that does not get discussed nearly as much as the accusation. And it is the most important part. On March 21, 2019, nearly a year after the original scandal broke, Bei Yebei returned to Weibo and posted a full public retraction. And I want to be specific about what she said because the details matter. She opened by stating clearly that she had not received any money in exchange for her statement, addressing the assumption that she had been paid off. She then went on to say that Hu Yitian never said anything negative about another artist. She stated he never said his fans were annoying. She said he did not deceive her feelings. She acknowledged that she allowed the media to take things out of context. She described him as actually being a very good person. And she ended her statement with a direct apology, admitting that she had wanted to gain attention and acknowledging that her actions had been wrong. She then stated she was leaving Weibo. Now let us be analytically honest here as well. A retraction coming almost a year later does raise questions. Why did it take that long? Was there pressure involved? We do not have confirmed answers to those questions, and it would not be responsible to speculate about them. What we can say is that the retraction was public, it was specific, and it directly contradicted the most damaging claims she originally made. So where does this leave us? What we know as confirmed fact. CCTV footage existed showing Hu Yitian at a hotel. Bei Yebei came forward claiming to be the woman in the footage. Audio was released that she claimed belonged to him. The audio contained a partially inaudible conversation that referenced a co-star in a way that was reported as an insult, but is far more ambiguous in the actual translation. Bei Yebei fully retracted her accusations publicly in March 2019. What was never confirmed? That the voice in the audio was definitively proven to be Hu Yitian's. That he ever explicitly called Shen Yue the ugliest actress he worked with. That the most damaging specific claims circulating online actually appear in the verified audio translation. Both Hu Yitian and Shen Yue continued their careers after this. There is no public record of hostility between them. And when his name came up in connection with potentially working with her again, his response was positive. The comment section on my previous video was full of people repeating the most extreme version of this story as settled fact. But when you go back to the actual documented timeline, the picture is significantly more complicated than that. That is not me telling you what to think. That is me giving you the full picture, so you can think for yourself. Before I go, I want to remind you that channel membership is now open with 2 tiers available. The inner circle gives you loyalty badges, a custom emoji, members-only live chats, priority replies to your comments, early access to new videos and exclusive photos and status updates. The Star Family tier gives you everything in the inner circle, plus members-only polls, members-only shorts, personal shoutouts from me, and access to members-only live streams. If this channel is your space for honest, research-backed content about Shen Yue and the wider C-drama world, joining the membership is how you become an even closer part of what we are building here. Links are in the description. I will always come back to the facts. That is what this channel is built on. Not rumors, not what spread the fastest, but what actually happened. If you found this breakdown useful, please like this video, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on your notifications. And drop a comment below telling me what you actually think after hearing the full story. Bye. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.